So for a while now, I've been interested in getting a Gibson Firebird guitar. I've played a couple in stores, really haven't had much of a chance to play with them. So as I sometimes do, I decided I would go for a cheaper option, maybe a knockoff, a copy, whatever, before buying the more expensive version. I just feel that's a good way to give it a test run and sort of see if it's a style of guitar that I might like. Obviously, it's not going to be the same as getting the actual brand name guitar. And in that case, you can modify it and see which kind of setup you like. And so that's what I wanted to do here. Buy a cheap Firebird and then see if it's a guitar I might actually want to, spend more money on. As I was looking for cheap Firebird options, the cheapest I found was a Epiphone, and I think that was $600, which isn't great, really. And really when I go for a copy or a knockoff, I want to spend $300 or less. I don't like to go any higher than that in case you want to upgrade electronics. It can get pretty expensive, and then you might as well have just bought the real thing. So after doing a search, I ended up finding a kit guitar for $250 on Amazon, and here it is. So I'm gonna open this up for the first time, see what we have. Seems to be packaged pretty well. This actually shipped from a US shipper. It took maybe 2 days, but it looks like, as the box says, it was made in China, so who knew? The body actually feels, it's pretty rough. It's not very smooth. Pretty dry. Nice and lightweight. Everything looks, routed out the way it should be. The neck is also, the fingerboard looks it's very dry. Which isn't a bad thing, but it is dry. It's been in a box for who knows how long. So I will definitely be doing something about that. The rest of the neck feels pretty rough. The back of the neck feels pretty rough. Which again, these aren't necessarily bad things because they all have to be finished, but just my initial observation. There's a big bag of hardware. Looks like everything's all there from what I can tell without tearing into it. A couple pickups in there. The control cavity cover. Not exactly sure where the pick guard is. I'll dig through this a little bit more to make sure everything is out of there. So that's it. Looks like everything's there. Looks pretty simple at this point. Alright, so now I'm putting some Tung Oil on the fretboard. I love tung oil, especially with, I'm more of a maple neck guy. Usually rosewood feels kind of dry or gritty to me, so I love tung oil, so I'm going to put tung oil on this board. Usually it's probably 10 to 15 coats before the board just soaks it up. After maybe 10 or 15 coats, you can start to see a little bit of glossiness. Try to put it on the light and make sure I wipe off the excess. You can kind of see it there. It's getting to be a little bit of a shine to it. You can watch other videos of people that really know what they're doing, and they can get these with tung oil to look like glass. I don't go that far. I just like it to feel. It doesn't quite feel like poly, which I don't like, that plastic feeling, but it does feel, it takes care of that really dry feeling. So here is my stain. This is a water-based stain. I am doing this project inside of a pretty small inner city apartment, so I don't have anywhere near proper ventilation. I don't want to poison the air for everyone I live with and everyone that lives in this building. I chose this color. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe either a gold top, or I sort of had like a vintage white color, which is probably my favorite guitar color, but ultimately I decided to go with this more natural water-based wood stain. It is Brandy is the name of this color, and I'm not doing any sanding to this. It feels rough, feels like it's gonna absorb the stain very well, so I'm just gonna go at it as is. And as I thought, it's soaking it up pretty well, so nice dry rough wood seems to be taking this just fine. My plan is probably to do 3 or 4 coats of this, and then a couple coats of water-based. I think I'm going to go with a satin finish. I've used the matte a lot. I would like maybe a little bit more shine than that. I believe the satin is supposed to have a little more shine than the matte, and then also high gloss. I'm not looking for a high gloss finish. Just trying to coat everything so I don't have any bare wood. I will leave the neck pocket unfinished. This stain and this color seem to be pretty good for the brush on technique. The neck and everything takes the stain just fine. Making sure to leave the heel of the neck. Here they are after a couple coats of the satin clear gloss. Seem to turn out well. That's what I want. I will now, after these dry for a couple days or however long, I plan to do some sanding again. I plan to sand it until it's smooth, but I'm not looking for a high polish, or I just want it to feel nice and smooth as I'm playing it, so it's not rough to rub up against. And at this point, that is it for the staining and the finishing.